Coors Light Cubs postgame live.
For John Bowker, who's on deck. 3-2 pitch. He got him. Cubs win on the slider.
Hello, welcome to our Cubs post-game live. I'm David Kaplan. He is Todd Hollingsworth. Cubs get the job done today in come-from-behind fashion, 5-3 over the Pittsburgh Pirates. And welcome into Coors post-game live coverage. He's Todd Hollingsworth. I'm David Kaplan. And this is an important win because the schedule makers help you out. You get a team that hasn't been over 500 in 18 years. You get them at home, you cannot afford to lose the first two.
This is a fist pump game. I mean, this is one of those games where you just feel it in the clubhouse. You feel it after the game. You're losing this ball game again to the lowly, in your mind, Pirates. You know, they might be better than we all think. I know it's early, but this is a team that's lost for 18 seasons, that has not typically come out of the gates that well and has lost a lot of ball games. The Cubs struggle with them, but not today. 8th inning, they get the job done. They pick up 2 walks, 3 opposite field. Hear me again, opposite field, base hits. Great at bats. They were early. They were real aggressive early. More patient in that 8th inning.
Well, the funny thing is, we are sitting in the newsroom. Now, this was a guy who was a rookie of the year and a big-time hitter in the big leagues. We're sitting there, and you said, would somebody please hit the ball the other way?
Yeah.
Well, they get a walk to Fukudome in that 8th inning where they come back and get 5. They get a base hit going with Castro hit one to the wall, going the other way. You get Soriano going the other way, and then Blake DeWitt going the other way, and you came back and you said, guys, quit trying to pull the ball when they're throwing 96.
Executing a game plan. That's what you didn't see earlier in the ball game. A lot of early swinging, almost like, you know, they felt like maybe they knew so much about Paul Mahalam and they saw the numbers and, you know, they had some success against him late last year that they felt like, you know, we can just be aggressive with this guy. He's going to be throwing us meatballs and we're going to beat him around the yard. Well, that's not what happened. He made pitches. He kept the ball down in the zone. Cubs made a lot of quick early outs in this ball game, but you get to that 8th inning, boy, talk about disciplined at bats, long at bats, working the mound, making that guy out there sweat, not you in the batter's box. I think all of us were holding our breath with just about every one of these at bats thinking, okay, you know, when's the bottom going to fall out? But you know what? It was another good at bat with 2 strikes on these hitters. I mean, they all went the other way. Great at bats. This is what's going to win ball games for this Cubs team, especially against teams they struggled against.
You know, even the ball that Marlon Byrd hit was hit the other way. It was booted by Overbay, but it was another one where he went the other way.
It was an idea that was in his mind, what he needed to do in that situation. Worst case scenario, I talk about this all the time. Positive, productive outs, and that's exactly what you saw right there with Marlon Byrd. No matter what happened, he was going to get that runner on second base to third. He's going to keep the pressure on the mound. It wasn't what you saw earlier in the ball game with guys. There was a couple of situations where we had early, you know, guy hit a double early in the ball game, got himself to second base, couple ground balls to third base, guy's not moving, he's just kind of hanging out there, and the inning comes and goes, and nobody scores, and nobody moves up a base.
All right, now pitching-wise, before the game, if you watched the pregame show, Mike Quade said today that he was going to find a way to get Marmol, Wood, Marshall all in because there was an off day on Thursday. They didn't pitch on Friday. He said, if I don't get him in today, far too long when they've got him set up coming out of spring training. Well, Carlos Marmol today was outstanding, dominant in that 9th inning, striking out the side.
Well, we're getting to the point where we're starting to expect it, and I hate to say that of him, but that's kind of what comes with your closer role. When you come in and can dominate and you've got electric stuff, you want quick outs, you want him to be aggressive, and he did just that today. This is what we saw in spring training. This is what we saw all last year. Devastating slider. Most hitters are fooled by it. They give up on it early. It's got so much movement back over the plate and down in the zone. It's virtually, we talk about it, it's almost an unhittable pitch. It's very, very hard to give yourself to swing at that pitch.
All right, let's go to the podium. Cubs manager Mike Quade, his first win of the season.
9 to 11, usually about.
So it looks like coming from.
Huh? Oh, jeez. You just keep playing, and sometimes circumstances. Who asked me earlier about my bullpen? Yeah, we're going to find a way to get these. Well, good for circumstances, dear, because they were great, and especially, you know, after seeing Z throw that pitch that Jones hit out at 81, you know, you go, whoa, wait a minute. He's having way too much fun to do that, and so I guess it was a cramp of his hand, nothing serious. I guess he thought he could get through it, and I wish we'd have found out about it or made a decision about it before the home run. But he was good. He was real good. And you know, we hit some balls hard. I mean, we finally put an inning together. But the bullpen was excellent. You guys watched the game. It was, and good for Blake DeWitt. What a huge hit for him, for us. But again, the strength with the bullpen finishing out the way Woody and Marsh and Marm did was kind of what we're counting on all year long, and they were really good.
What kind of encouragement have you given DeWitt even after he was out of the starting mix?
Oh, just to relax, just to relax and trust himself. You know, I mean, you know, he's still a young guy. He's still learning. But this young guy does have a 260-ish average here. He's had success swinging the bat, a certain amount of success. Who knows why these things happen in Arizona? We've seen some guys that had great springs that struggle. We've seen guys that didn't have great springs that came out. You know, he gets a big hit today. So, but I got to keep telling myself, I mean, there's not just a young shortstop on this team. I mean, Blake's young experience-wise and stuff too, but he loves to compete. He loves to work, and you know, he's going to contribute, and today was huge, obviously.
Especially since it looked like it was settling into one of those familiar things, you know, not getting hits with runners and scoring.
The familiar thing, Bruce. I got no time for the familiar thing. Hopefully it won't become a familiar thing, but yeah, you know, I mean, when you struggle, isn't that the way it goes? I mean, you're not getting beat 13-10. You know, you're getting beat in some close ball games. We saw some of that we had trouble with last year. And there was no guarantee we were going to come out of this without, you know, a one-run loss or anything else. I mean, but I know these guys are going to play and compete and keep going. Fook gets a big at bat. I mean, heck, the whole inning. Soriano's at bat, huge. For Sori too. Yeah, you know, I mean, stuff that he needs to do. So it's nice to come back and win a game, and it's nice when you can point to 12 guys that literally took part in helping us win the game. I mean, you know, if you count all the pitching and everything else, but a lot of people contributed today, and that's a good thing.
If the bullpen is a strength of your team, like a lot of people predicted, could you emulate a season like the Padres, or maybe take it a step further than that?
Well, I just think, you know, the Padres put together an unbelievable year last year, and obviously their bullpen was huge, and I love my bullpen, but they did it for a full year, so I'm not ready to make comparisons yet. But I know that I feel real good, as I'm sure Bud Black did last year, getting through 6 innings with the lead. And, you know, we're still going to let our starters do what they need to do, and when they're pitching well, continue on. But it's a great luxury to have, Bruce. You know that. So let's hope. You know, let's hope that it keeps going that way.
Mike, how nice is the first one you've done your column?
I guess it's great. I like that song they play at the end, but Marmo gave me the ball. Heck, you know, you won the game, son. You keep the ball. But no, he wanted me to have it, so that was nice. But yeah, good to get it out of the way. But just win. You know, not for me. Just compete and win and get these guys going. And you know, heck, I was real excited at the end, and I'm not normally that excited. So it was a good thing. It was really good.
I don't know if you're superstitious, but will you encourage somebody to put something philosophical on the board tomorrow?
I'm staying out of this whole deal. The minute I inject something, we'll go south in a heartbeat. So it's their clubhouse. They play the game. Let them go. But I'm disappointed. I hope is it still up? Because I probably need to go take a look at it. But anyway, so good day. Real good day.
From the hand injury, Zambrano's outing, and you just talked about that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I thought he threw the ball well. I'm trying to think back. I mean, it's hard for me to get past all the last 3 innings. But no, he did a good job. And you know, I mean, outside of the pitch after he was hurt, really, the home run ball, you know, he competed and did a heck of a job. And it's always tougher to pitch well and stuff when you don't have any run support at the time. So I thought he handled himself real well, and got a double, got our first extra base hit. He's something. I mean, he's something, and all he needs to do is take care of that cramp and just keep doing what he's doing. He doesn't need to do any more. Just keep doing what he's doing. And
Did you say he was feeling it before?
I just watched him fiddling around in the 6th inning, and more than he normally does. And you know, okay, he's okay. I'm okay. Okay, so, but I look up at the board and see 81 and say, you know, no. So, and that's the other thing. You know, you want it's an incredible deal. You want guys to, I got it. I'm going to do this, but it's a fine line. If you can't, you can't. So I would encourage them all, and they've been honest with me. And if you're feeling bad, I love the fact you want to go back out there, but let's make sure. And it's also, we're talking about the first start of the year, so there's a lot of baseball left to be played. So, but I was glad to see after the game and talking to him that he's going to be fine.
You talk a lot about Castro and how talented he is, but it looks like he has a great feel for the game too. The way he scored runs a couple of these guys.
Yeah, right before your eyes. I mean, and maybe I haven't thought enough about some of the mistakes he made last year, and maybe some of these things that we didn't see from him last year that we're seeing now. And oh, by the way, he's 20 years old and he's trying to get comfortable in Wrigley Field, and maybe that takes 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 4 months. I go back to my coaching third base here. I mean, it was at least 3/4 of the way through the season before I felt comfortable, and I'm just coaching third. This guy's playing every day. So, maybe it's maturing as an individual. It's getting comfortable in the friendly confines, getting comfortable with your teammates and this level of baseball and everything else, and all of a sudden, there it is. And that, once you get comfortable with all that, then whatever talent you have should come out and instinctively the same stuff that you're seeing now. So he's a lot of fun to watch, isn't he? And
can you refresh us on the ground rules?
All right, there you go. So that's Mike Quade after his first win as the regular manager after his stint last year in late August. So do they breathe a little easier as we look at the pitching matchup here? Paul Maholm, you said it in the pregame. Get runners on base, you will score runs. But he pitched pretty well today.
Well, I think he recognized that this Cubs offense was going to be real aggressive with him today. They came out and they hit about 3 or 4 line drives in the first 2 innings. And you could sense that he was going to kind of change his approach. He got himself into a position where he started throwing more off-speed pitches early. He typically is a guy who throws fastballs to get ahead, and then he tries to work in his good changeup, his good slider, curveball. That's what he wants to do. But he is definitely a strike thrower. That being said, you start to see a lot more breaking pitches as the game wore on, and I think you kind of started to feel the tension, and I think he honestly recognized the tension that this Cubs offense was feeling, not scoring some runs. It was almost like, oh, here we go again. We've got a couple runs. We're feeling pretty good about ourselves. We're feeling like we're doing things the right way, and he was just cruising along doing his thing, and Cubs were kind of just swinging, trying to get back in the ballgame.
Man, Big Z pitched a pretty solid ball game today. He struggled with his command early, but then once he located it, he was pretty locked in till he got the cramp in his hand right before he gave up the home run ball.
Well, we were talking about this in the pregame. It's so different when you open up at home than when you're the visiting team on the road for the season. I mean, there's no pressure. This Pittsburgh Pirate team has come into Chicago. They've been in spring training. They're loose. They're not worrying about getting all these wins and playing well in front of the home fans and doing all these things. I mean, you sense a little bit of tension amongst these Cubs players. I saw a little aggression in Carlos. He was a little frustrated with one of his at-bats today. You saw a little frustration out there on the mound. Those aren't bad things, but I really think you have to recognize, how this is playing itself out. I mean, it's the start of the season. They've only played 2 games. They are opening up at home. They didn't have, maybe the luxury of going out and kind of getting your feet wet in another city. So they're trying to get it all going in the right direction at the same time. There's guys, new players. Carlos Pena's coming in here trying to make a fantastic first impression, trying to get that big hit, and, maybe you're trying a little too hard.
All right, if you have a question for Todd, log on to csnchicago.com. Click the Submit Comments and Questions tab. It's our Coors Light Submit a Question segment. We'll try to get to some of them before we get out of here at the end of the show. All right, Cubbies, 5-3 winners. So now tomorrow is the rubber game, but it's also an interesting side story because Matt Garza, who had a bad spring, goes to the bump at Wrigley. I'm assuming he will be pitching with a lot of emotion.
Well, he's going to be pitching with a lot of emotion. I'm really just hoping that he goes out there and is aggressive. I mean, this is a Pittsburgh team. I really feel like if you control the top of their lineup, you can do some things. There hasn't been a tremendous amount of production from the bottom half of their lineup for quite some time, and I haven't seen it so far in this series. Most of the damage is done at the top. You work your way through those guys. You got to stay aggressive. Don't put runners on base. You saw the Cubs' 8th inning. You mix in a couple walks and you get a couple of hits. Next thing you know, run after run after run is crossing home plate. That's just what you don't want. He led the team in walks in spring training. I mean, I could care less about the hits, and I know he's trying to find his arm slot and his velocity, and the ball's coming out of his hand really good. But I really think the key tomorrow is going to just be to be just aggressive with his pitches, to go after this Pittsburgh Pirate lineup and make sure he doesn't give those free passes out.
All right, Coors Light Cubs postgame live continues. We'll show you Kerry Wood's return to the North courtside. Take a look at the Cubs lineup and much more straight ahead. So stick around. We'll be right back.
Be right back.
What are you guys doing here?
We're not here. We're figments of your imagination.
You're thinking about all that Rocky Mountain cold refreshment at our tailgate. Dude, in 3 hours, you will be enjoying Coors Light.
I want to get my hands on that can.
Bill!
Hey. Frost brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
Hey, does this make my butt look big?
What does it take to fly? It takes knowing we have our work cut out for us. But if you run before the wind, you can't take off. You've got to turn into it. The thing you push against lifts you up. So every challenge is a chance to show that even in this crazy world of no liquids and route cancellations, someone still has the passenger's back. And along the way, we'll prove we're not just building a bigger airline, we're building a better one.
Out there. Range Rover Sport, powered by intelligence.
Fix and Ease, the language spoken by those working on a home repair project and clearly understood by K&K employees.
Looking for some of that spray stuff that kills these things?
Absolutely. We'll have everything you need right over here in our lawn and garden department.
Service with answers. That's the K&K way.
I need a new curving pipe and a connector thingy for under my sink.
I know just what you need. It's right over here in plumbing.
Service with answers. That's the K&K way. Check us out on the web at kkhardware.com.
It's fun. It's exciting. It's a blast. And it's for the whole family. Did I mention it's a bit muddy, too? So grab a buddy and get muddy at the Iowa Sports Foundation Mud Run, presented by the University of Iowa, May 14th at Sleepy Hollow Sports Park in Des Moines. Register online at iowasportsfoundation.org and let the good times splatter.
You're watching the home of the Bulls, Blackhawks, Cubs, and White Sox. Comcast Sportsnet.
Time now for our Four Seasons heating and air conditioning. Who's hot, who's not? You take a look at the numbers right there. Josh Johnson, a good debut over the Mets, 6 2/3 of 3-hit baseball. John Buck, 2 for 4 with a home run and 4 knocked in. And Miguel Montero, 3 for 5, a home run and a couple RBIs. But who's not? David Wright, 0 for 4. Troy Tulowitzki, 0 for 5. Mike Pelfrey, that opening game loss to the Florida Marlins, 4 1/3 of 5 earned baseball, and that doesn't even count Albert Pujols, who was 0 for 5 in their opener with 3 grounded into a double play.
Yeah, I don't know how he did. I don't know how he didn't get up on the board. He should have been on the board.
Yeah, not good at all. Time for our Felco coming home moment. That's Kerry Wood's first outing in a Cubs uniform since way back in 2008. Woody was outstanding today. Came in, did put one man out with a walk, and then struck out a couple men. Really looked good.
Yeah, he looked great. He came in. He was throwing strikes, had a good cutter, good control of his fastball. He wasn't all over the place. He was real confident. It was one of those situations a little bit backwards. We weren't bringing him into that pivotal situation. Cubs at that time were actually playing from behind, so it was a good opportunity to get him in there and back in the Cubs uniform, back out there on the field, and maybe not the pressure cooker that he's probably going to be pitching in for the rest of this season, but it did work out well for him today. He looked real good.
And he's got a new pitch, as you mentioned, the cutter. He said old dogs can learn new tricks.
Sure. Listen, you've got to, if your repertoire is 2 and now it's 3, I mean, it's only going to help you as you get older.
Makes you tough to stop. Absolutely. All right, let's take a look at how the Cub lineup fared today. Cub lineup a little bit different than what we saw on opening day. No Fukudome. Jeff Baker in there came up with a double. Starlin Castro, another multi-hit game. And you go through the lineup right there, and they came through when they had to in the 8th inning.
Well, this really comes back to me. I mean, this is a lineup, this is the box score that we've seen before. A lot of guys contributing a little bit here, a little bit there, but for the most part, the inability to string it together. That 8th inning was fantastic. That's what excites me the most. That's what has got me pumping my fist today about this team, is that they were able to put those at-bats together. That's what you want to see more of. You know, there were opportunities in this ball game early to score some runs, and the Cubs just did not capitalize on them. They really didn't have good at-bats. Their ideas, the thoughts that were going through their head. You can tell when a guy's willing to go the other way, when he's making an effort. You're seeing guys that Carlos Pena's squaring around a couple times. Reed Johnson did the same thing. Guys are trying to get the rhythm and get things going. I really feel like if this team can get functioning pretty decently offensively, they're going to be really good, because I think the pitching is going to be solid this year. I think the starting rotation is going to be pretty good in that bullpen. I like it a lot.
All right, time now for our Xfinity high-speed action play. Alfonso Soriano 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts in his career against Pirates reliever Evan Meek. Entering his at-bat in the 8th, Soriano fought off a couple tough pitches and then took action.
Well, let me tell you something. You want to talk about sometimes that helpless feeling where you've just got to find it inside yourself to keep battling. I guarantee you that was that at-bat for Alfonso Soriano. He knows his track record, I'm sure of it, against Evan Meek, and getting that big hit in the big situation. That's what it's all about. That's what baseball players have to do. You talked about the message that was on the board, forgetting what happened yesterday, forgetting what happened last year, coming out, having good at-bats. You got to forget what you did your last at-bat, even when you're going well and when you're not going so well. Those at-bats prior to don't mean anything. You have to capture that moment and make the most of it. Alfonso Soriano did just that.
All right, we will hear from Big Z, Carlos Zambrano, and we'll answer your email questions. That's all next. Coors Light Cubs Postgame Live. It rolls on here on Comcast Sportsnet.
Xfinity TV from Comcast gives you access to 10,000 on-demand titles and the best HD picture quality. Call 1-800-XFINITY today. Sports.
All right, time for our question of the day. How many wins will Carlos Zambrano have at the end of this season? That's from Dustin and Aurora, and he wants to know what you think, Todd Hollingsworth.
Well, I'll give you my best opinion, and my best opinion is 15 wins, Dustin. Why? Because if you see what you saw today in Carlos, the ability to compete, the ability to go after hitters, the ability to command his 5 pitches. Now, granted, early in the game, he was struggling a little bit, but, you know, Ryan Dempster struggled a little bit early yesterday, too, and I think you might see that with some of these pitchers and some of these bullpen guys. Evan Meek, for example. I mean, this is a guy who had the Cubs number 6 scoreless innings last year, comes in today. Cubs were all over him. Boy, he wasn't tricking anybody. I mean, that just goes to show you different years, different times. But I really think Carlos has turned the page. I expect hopefully 15 wins out of him this year. I think that would be a good number for him. And if he can get that done, boy, he'll probably find himself at the All-Star game.
All right, time for our Sports Authority play of the game. Blake DeWitt comes in off the bench, a pinch hit opportunity, and he gets the job done. And Todd, it's funny how that all works out. You have a guy who had an awful spring. There was talk he might start in AAA. Mike Quade said, no, I think this guy will be okay. And then the button he pushes today is Blake DeWitt's, and he comes through.
Well, you talk about that change of scenery. I mean, it works both ways. For the pitchers, for the hitters, I've had miserable spring trainings before, and next thing you know, you kind of get your first start, and you throw 2 doubles out there, and you feel good about yourself. And next thing you know, everything's okay. And that's really what it takes sometimes. I mean, he's the hero of the day, the winner. And just like you said, he had the potential to go back to AAA. I don't want to say he was in the doghouse. That's not a place you put, DeWitt. That's not where he belonged. He just struggled in spring training. But he got the job done today. He had a great at-bat. I really believe he recognized what was going on in that moment. He saw the at-bats from his teammates prior to him, going the other way. Marlon Byrd, he's sacrificing himself, giving himself up, going the other way, trying to get a hit the other way. Starlin Castro going the other way. I mean, all of these approaches were the same. He did just that. He got a tailing fastball. If he tries to pull that ball, it's a ground ball to second base. He stayed on it, went the other way for a double.
There you have it. All right, now Carlos Zambrano just sat down and met with the media, and he started the questions by dealing with the cramping again in his right hand.
Just cramping, but I'll be okay, you know, if I drink a lot of fluids and whatever I have to do to get out of, don't feel that anymore, you know. But it's nothing I can do about it, you know. It's in my system. So if I keep doing whatever the trainers say, you know, and for my next outing, you know, I'll be okay.
Carlos, how exciting for the team to come from behind, have the big inning, and get the first win of the season.
It was, you know, everybody's happy, and that was the most important thing today, you know. Everybody collaborate to, you know, to win the victory, and, you know, pretty excited. When everybody put a little bit of whatever they have to do, Soriano with the big hit and the weed. You know, actually Soriano took a great at bat, you know. Even Mick was, I mean, he's nasty. I mean, and you know, Soriano put a good word in that ball, and then, you know, like I say, everybody worked hard today to win this game, and coming from behind, you know, it's you know, second game of the season is mean a lot for us.
When did the cramping start? Did it start before the home run returns?
Yeah. Actually, when I was, you know, going to the field, I felt a little bit, you know, in my hamstring, and you know, when I was warming up, and you know, I was kind of like worried about it, you know, and then through that pitch, you know, with nothing. But like I say, you know, hopefully we can work on this and take care of this for my next outing. Huh? Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
You said in your hamstring you started that?
Yeah. When I was, you know, walking or, you know, running to the pitching mound, I felt that a little bit, you know. No big deal. I thought I can get away with that, and obviously it wasn't the case. So.
All right, there he is, Big Z, and the Cubs get the W today. Let's check out pitching matchup for tomorrow's rubber game of this 3-game set with Pittsburgh. Matt Garza and Ross Ohlendorf, your thoughts on what you see there. Ohlendorf's win-loss record obviously way up the track, but ERA not completely obscene.
Well, Ross, he's a super sinker guy, one of those guys who goes out there and wants to establish his sinker early, but I really feel like this is going to be more about the Cubs offense coming out and getting some things done and building and taking the momentum from today and the confidence that they built today and using it again tomorrow. I think in Matt's case, he's trying to forget spring training, and he's just getting out there to help everybody forget that by going out there and throwing a great ball game. Again, for Matt, I think it's all about being aggressive, make sure he doesn't walk any guys unnecessary walks and put unnecessary base runners on there, to just be aggressive, be himself, and go out there and have fun.
Hey, you've seen a number of pitchers here in the first couple of days of the baseball season that have had okay springs, and they go out and they dominate, and you look at it, you say, yeah, it's, you know, leaf spring where it is, because sometimes you're testing things.
Well, you know, you talk about that first week of the season. I mean, it is just such a different animal. You know, you've got different emotions. You're not in your routine. You're trying to get your bags unpacked in your house, and so many of these things are going on all around you. At the same time, you're going out there trying to perform. It's colder than where you've been. I mean, they've been in 80 degrees for the last 6 weeks. It's 40 here. I think for Matt, again, it's a fresh start. He's going to want to make people here in Chicago proud.
All right, thank you for watching Coors Light Cubs Postgame Live. We'll see you for our next broadcast right here on CSN on Monday afternoon. Cubbies and Pirates wrap it up tomorrow. The Diamondbacks in next. For our crew, for Todd, I'm David Kaplan. We'll see you.
Cubs Postgame Live is presented to you by Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.